Say good morning to you, Grenada, our sister Isles of Carriacou, Petit Martinique. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Tuesday, the 30th day of August, 2022. Welcome to another edition of To The Point for today. And I hope all is well with everyone on the outdoors this morning. If you are moving around the entire island this morning, probably you just decided I'm going to visit a friend or family somewhere, and you move around from one parish to another, maybe from one village to another village. But let me say good morning to you. Let me say good morning to all those of you also viewing this morning via GBN TV. Wish you a great day today, and thanks for taking the opportunity to tune in this morning to another edition of To The Point. It's another open line edition this morning. I'm GT with you this morning. I'm going to be around with you till it's 10 a.m. and we're taking your phone calls. 435-2041. That's 435-2041. That's actually the number you can use to get on with me this morning. Share your thoughts, share your views, your concerns, something that may have happened that have a positive nature in your community. I would love to hear folks talk to me about the positive things that may be happening on this beautiful island of ours, this little rock of ours. There's something positive happening. You have to be. Maybe there's still something of a negative nature that you want to bring to the forefront that you think maybe the authorities should be getting into or dealing with. It seems to be the vast conversation these days. Folks always seem to want to get off the negative stuff out there. But let's talk about the positive stuff, if there is any, that you would like to throw out this morning. And your phone calls are certainly welcome. 435-2041. And certainly, as we get set to kick it off this morning, if you, of course, are home this morning and you tuned in, I want to wish you all the best. Probably you're getting some chores done while you're listening. Certainly appreciate that a whole lot. Let me say good morning to my, sometimes missed out on shutting you guys out a whole lot. Let me say good morning to my social media audience this morning, especially those of you via the Facebook page. Good morning to you. And thanks for taking the time out to tune in this morning. And all the best to everyone, wherever you are, whatever you're up to. So it's an open line this morning once again, 435. No specific topic on the agenda. It's open for you, our loyal listeners and the viewers out there, to calling and share your views and concerns. Let's grab our very first caller this morning. We have lost that. 435-2041. That's 435-2041. That's a number for you to call in. Moving around, was it a little bit, was it yesterday? Yeah, I'm moving around and took notice of that, the sargassum seaweed. Seem to be coming into the southern part of the island a whole lot now. Yeah, man. Talk about all beautiful beaches and so forth. Been threatened by that now. Certainly hope the authorities can look into that and find some way of getting that cleaned up as soon as possible. Let's go to the phone line. Calling, good morning, and how are you?
Morning, I'm okay. Want to wish you a blessed day today.
Thank you so much.
I have two concerns.
Go right ahead.
First one is driving at night and vehicles not dimming the lights. Nobody dimming the lights. Even the XSU coming down full speed with no light dimming. I'm very concerned. For me, I'm frightened to travel in the night. I'm telling you, it's unbearable. One, and secondly, vehicles just parking alongside the road and they're having a party. I never seen that before. I saw that Sunday down in Grand Mall. The vehicles park on the side of the road there. So vehicles coming up and you have to wait behind them because the other side is for the right-hand side coming down is for vehicle to pass. And I find too much lawlessness now. People just want to take things in their own hand and do what they feel and what they like. A stop has to be put to this thing. Have a lovely day.
You too, caller. Thank you so much for your contribution this morning. And I take it, especially your first contribution this morning pertaining to drivers who drive on the nation's road. And some folks will refer to it as the highlights. Yeah, they're using the high ones or the high beams, as we would say locally. And sometimes they do that without no care. Some folks are modifying their lights per se, so which means it's brighter than usual. You understand? And that's worrisome sometimes because there are drivers who probably keep the lights that their vehicle or that were manufactured with. They keep those lights, and there are folks who of course would have modified theirs, which means now they are brighter. The luminance per se is more than what the manufacturer recommended. You know, everybody wants their vehicle to look good. I understand that. But sometimes it could be a problem for other drivers on the nation's roads. You understand? So maybe some concern could be. And I know it's for some, if you go to do your inspection and stuff, it's not permitted for some vehicles. But now times have changed because there are actually vehicles that are made that way with those particular lights now. All right. And it's a bit of a concern anyway. It's a bit of a concern. Let's go back to the phone line. Caller, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Telesford. Greetings.
Good morning to you, sir.
Listen, before I go any further, somebody called me yesterday and told me that you cut me off. Say, John, they're cutting you off. No, I say, no, I didn't feel it. Did you cut me off yesterday?
No, I didn't cut you off. You were already wrapping up. You were already wrapping up.
Along that way.
You were already wrapping up, sir. And
I had already finished and so on, but you see, but you know, they like the pro. But here it is. No, they can't. I'm going as energizer. You know that little rabbit beating little drum, the boom boom. I can't stop at all. I know again things to talk about. Hallelujah. Let's go. But here it is now. I want to, or would like to, make a comment on what is the exchange of words around the tongue and so on about the duties of the DPP and his untouchable character, tal. All right? Here it is. Grenadians have to understand why this is happening. We are living under a monarchic system. A system, and it is there for everybody to see. Just ask them to show you the Constitution Act of Grenada. All those who coming out today defending the DPP and so on, yes, or the so-called DPP, should I say. Yes, that's quite true. That is quite correct. 71 says that person, individual with male or female, is untouchable. And mind you, if even they're higher, they're 40 years old, they have the right to go on to 70, not 60 when everybody else retires, 70. So you see, it is a position established by the system. And I'll tell you why. It is there. The position has been set up to save those who they wish to save. Now, if they don't want to prosecute a person, that office just draws a line, full stop. Nobody else talks about it is dead. So they save the criminals, they save the crooks through that position. That's why you hear when that job is up for grabs, so many wars and battles and fights and this. That is why that position. There's another one, the director of audit, but the system has been set up. That is why I urge you, Grenadians, to understand that the monarchic imperial order that we are being ruled by, where the people of this country had no input anywhere. As a matter of fact, I said it, the Constitution Act doesn't exist. Then where do these people get their power? They get their power from an imperial order in Congress of the Queen's Most Excellent Majesty. Grenada is ruled. The legal system has been so set up to abuse and oppress the locals. That is why whoever they are can be saved through that position. Open your eyes, Grenadians. Open your eyes. We have to reconstitute this country where the Constitution is written by us, the people, and where it should begin this way. Whereas we, the men and women of Grenada, ... That is what we have to struggle for. If we don't, we remain glued to the imperial order all the days of our lives. Be aware, brothers and sisters. Thank you very much, Mr. Telesford, and do have a nice day, will you?
You too have a good day, sir. 435-2041. It's to the point. We're taking your calls. Yes, we're taking your calls this morning. It's an open line, which means you have the option of calling in and stating your concerns about particular issues. That could, of course, help this beautiful land of us even move forward. All right, we thank you so much for your phone calls. Let me say good morning to, of course, the listeners via social media, especially those of you via Facebook. Yeah, and I'm looking at some of the comments that have already been stated, and folks have chimed in already pertaining to the issue that we talk about, the headlights per se, in terms of drivers with those. Some folks are saying there's advantage and disadvantage of having those headlights. Yes, it probably helps you to see better. but sometime with the luminance level of those lights, it could be hazardous for the approaching vehicle. Probably if there's an area probably where you alone is driving per se and you have to go that bright, maybe to see, maybe there's no street lights or some other sort, maybe we don't understand, but sometimes the luminance level for regular driving per se could be very, very dangerous for the approaching driver. Let's go to the phone line and say good morning to the caller. Caller, good morning, and how are you? Good morning to you, caller. I guess that caller has dropped out there this morning. It's to the point here on K105 GBN TV. We're looking at 10 minutes after the hour this morning. Let's go back to the phone line. Certainly hope we do have another caller there. No, I don't think there's a caller. There was someone popping in, but somehow they have dropped out. Yeah, I was talking about a while ago the sargassum seaweed that seems to be taking over the southern part of the island a whole lot. There are a lot of concern about that, and I certainly hope the authorities could look into that. Our beautiful beaches, we don't want to lose them like that. Not only going to lose it, but you know what it's like. Folks may not be want to use the beach per se when the sargassum weed is that bad. We know what it's like in the northern part of the island, and how it has taken over there a whole lot. Sometimes it's all year round per se, and getting into this side of the island now, it's haven't been seeing it much on this side of the island, but it certainly is approaching us, and it's coming down in its magnitude now. So certainly that's a cause for concern. 445-2041. We taking your calls. It's to the point. It may remind you also, don't forget, Jimmy will bring you coverage of this year's Hero CPL, and there'll be some adjustment to our programming lineup per se. So as of tomorrow, Wednesday, the 31st of August, and also on Thursday, the 1st of September 2022. Now transition will be held will be per se from 5:05 p.m. All right, and GBN TV News will be at 6 p.m. and repeated right after the CPL match. So take a note of that. Transition will be rebroadcast after GBN News repeat. So folks, take a note of that. Let's go to the phone line. Good morning to you, caller. How are you?
Yeah, good morning. Not bad at all. Everything okay?
Yes, I'm okay.
All right. I'm just putting a little sense in on the lady who called about the bright light.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm 60 going, and honestly speaking, I could understand where she's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And so, for my take on it, I believe the traffic department, if it's something, has to go to Parliament and to make it mandatory that anybody caught using the headlights or the bright lights in built-up areas will be charged unless they have a good reason as to why. Because a lot of drivers, and I don't want to have to call names, but call the type of vehicle,
mm-hmm.
but I'll choose not to. But there's a lot of people, even though you flick your lights, showing them that they're indicating that to dim your light, they don't pay you no blind notice. So I believe this thing could be done by the traffic department if it's something has to pass through Parliament. Just as how they put on this seatbelt, pass it. Anybody caught driving your vehicle in built-up areas,
mm-hmm.
they will be charged. Unless you could defend yourself as to why you have your bright lights on, just as if a police catch you with not wearing your seatbelt, and if you have a good reason to say whether you have a heart problem or whatever, or stomach problem, and it's being allocated that they allow you that you're not supposed to wear your seatbelt, then I think similar should be done to the bright lights, because that creates accidents. I nearly bunged on a man, and there's a lot of people walking the road in the night with dark clothes on. And if I wasn't looking at the side of the road, I would have bunged that guy.
All right.
So, and it's because of the vehicle coming towards me had the bright lights on, so he was blurring my vision. So I was using the side of the road in order to drive.
All right.
Because I couldn't look straight at the vehicle coming. So I believe that is something we need to look into definitely.
Point taken, Ned caller, and certainly do understand where you're coming from. Being a driver myself, I certainly know where you're coming from with that. Thanks for your contribution this morning.
Okay, sir. No problem.
All right. 435-2041. And the caller is right about that, The caller is certainly right about that, because I mean, gone are the days, folks may disagree with me, let's say 30 years ago, when there were limited street lights, per se, on the nation's roads, where in areas where street lights were limited, probably you will need to use your headlights on the high beam, as you will say in local terms. But these days, I was actually showing someone the other day that there are particular times you drive in the night, you can actually turn your light off. I mean, it's not permanent. I'm not saying you should do it, but it's the roads are that lit in terms of the street lights and stuff. The kind of luminance of the street lights and stuff have these days that you could actually turn your street light and still see where you're going. So sometimes it's not necessary for you to drive with those high lights always, or those bright lights, So it's understandable. Let's go back to the phone line. Good morning to you, caller.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
I was just listening to the other person talk about the high beam and the bright lights. I am a driver, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the amount of big hole in the road you have to be dodging. How you expect to see with a low beam? That's what I mean. So we the roads and extend it and widen it and put sidewalks.
So that means there are advantages and disadvantages of the high beams, right? More
it's just advantages and disadvantages. Men would put the high beam on because
they want to show
to see them potholes, bro. I'm telling you, them things mash up the suspension.
You do have a point there too, caller. You
keep taking off the high beam and let a man see, but then you can see the hole and you could endanger yourself too. There's a lot of ways in which we could look at things,
I agree. I understand where you're coming from.
If we do proper drainage system and sidewalk and fix the roads by paving it and not patching it, it won't be as less difficult to drive on the road smoothly without having to swing left and right.
But would you agree with me by saying that it could be more hazardous having your high lights on?
Yes,
if the approaching driver per se, let's just for argument's sake, has his lights on low and you on low, it may not impair your vision of not seeing that pothole. You understand?
Yeah.
But if yours is brighter than his, and he puts on his, yes, he would allow you to see, but then some form of impairment will come about because of the lights, because it affects you, which breaks your concentration on looking at the road more or less. So I mean, so there are advantages and disadvantages of it. But you understand?
Sure.
Thanks for your contribution this morning, caller.
All right, have a nice day.
Yeah, man. 435-2041, 435-2041, and we taking your calls this morning. Let me say good morning to Sonia. Thanks, of course, chiming in this morning. It's been a while. Good morning to you, lady. Good morning.
Yes, sir. The word high beam means high beam, and low beam means low beam. High beam, I think, means that it could the light will be further extended than the low beam. So I don't see how the low beam could prevent you from seeing closer to you.
I agree.
And then I think you'll be able to see the holes in the road. But this is not the problem. The problem is they put the thing in the vehicles that you could dim your light, as they would say, when another vehicle is approaching. So this is what a lot of people are not doing. And some of us are changing the beams to higher beam than what the
factory recommended. The factory recommended. You below for modifications.
These things are causing a lot of inconvenience to other drivers. And the police has a right to stop people with high beam light and charge them if they find that they put on extended lights or put on a higher beam wattage then. This is what they have to do. We need the money, and the government will get more money when they charge you, and people would understand that it's not supposed to do illegal things. So we have to make rules against those things, and when we catch them, we have to charge them.
All right.
So this is the problem. You look for the people that have the wattage higher than their vehicle is made with. We have the bulbs selling, and people go at them. They go at them because they want to either run you off the road, or you could be easily run off the road when you meet this high beam on them.
All right. Thank you, caller.
What the police has to do.
Thank you for your contribution, caller.
And charge them.
Thank you so much. 435-2041, 435. And I understand where that caller is coming from, because there are lots of drivers who are modifying their lights per se, from the legal, what has been legally permitted by, when you go to do inspections, the police officer and so forth will ask you to, put on your lights, check the type, if it's not what is recommended or what the vehicle coming or what is recommended in Grenada per se, they may actually change it. And then, then we drive out after the inspection and we go put it back on. And they're probably something that will come about where they will have to have that double inspection per se, because if you are noticed over there and you've been inspected and you pass your inspection, and you will see, well, I don't think that individual passes inspection with that particular light. So something like that, I understand it do occur from time to time. Let's take another caller. Caller, good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a contribution on that of the lights that is highly spoken of.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was said, they had their benefits and disadvantages. All right. What I think is needed, they need to agree on a wattage that can be used and make it legal, because they come in different wattages.
Mm-hmm.
It's encouraged that people should go green for environmental purposes and so on. When you're building, use LEDs, energy saving. It's the same thing in the auto industry.
Mm-hmm.
These are LEDs, then we need to go green in the auto too. So we can't just stay back to vehicles that we have in the 1980s, and you have the modern vehicles that's coming in with LEDs. They need to upgrade. So what we need to do is not to regress, but go forward and as we let the authorities agree, and if it's a 4,000 watt wattage or 6,000, that is legal, and make it legal and encourage everybody to upgrade. The next thing is that we teach people to drive in the day, but we don't teach people to drive in the night. For instance, when do you dim your lights? Is it necessary to use a high beam and so on? So it has to do with education in terms of night driving and so on. But I don't believe that LEDs are going to go away. We could vent about it. It's coming through customs. Revenues are collected on it. It's on the shelf, being sold legally. So if it's illegal, why not stop it at the customs? So I think we've been hypocrite here, and we just have to come to the modern time and acknowledge that these are things that are coming, and we'll have to live with them, and we just have to regulate them and regulate it in terms of the wattage. That's my contribution.
Thank you for your contribution this morning, caller. I certainly do understand where the caller is coming from. He's right for saying that, times has changed. Where we are moving away from the incandescent types and we're moving on to the LEDs. But I'm just, maybe in terms of what he said, maybe there's be some legislation passed pertaining to the wattage that you should have on your vehicle. That probably could be something that could be looked into. All right, let's take a break, folks. Went over my first break time. Let's take that break and we come back with more of your phone calls and comments and so forth. We're coming right back. Don't touch it out.
You're all ready.
As GBN brings you coverage of this year's Hero CPL, there will be some adjustments to our programming lineup. On Wednesday, 31st August and Thursday, 1st September 2022, transitions will be aired at 5:05 p.m. GBN TV News will be at 6 p.m. and repeated right after the CPL match. Transitions will be rebroadcast after the GBN News repeat. GBN, with you anywhere and everywhere with sports coverage.
Mr. mentioned the wing high, then you have things like Manu Moss come back, we have the low.
Welcome back. It's to the point for today, Tuesday, the 30th day of August 2022. It's an open line for today, Tuesday, and your phone calls are welcome. And of course, the dominant conversation this morning has been pertaining to lights, and I'll use those bright lights, we'll say. And we have folks having various views on it this morning, and everyone's views are certainly welcome. Let's take another caller this morning and see what this caller has to contribute. Good morning to you, caller. How are you?
Good, DT, and I know you're good. I know you're always good. Anyway,
yeah, I'm good.
Good spirit. By the way, is it an open line?
Yes, it's open line this morning.
Okay, because I just joined. The thing about it is, I think we normally talk about laws and regulation. A lot of times, laws are passed, no regulation. And that we need to really strengthen regulation. For instance, the Noise Pollution Act is there, but the regulations are not imposed, so there's none. So we need to put those things, or even the Litter Abatement Act. A lot of things, people are just doing things like, and I shudder to think what would happen in the next 5-10 years as the older generation move away, because by and large, the older generation have been like the stabilizing force in the society. In spite of our shortcomings. But we have a generation, I'm not chiding, I'm not, condemning them, because we haven't been examples, we haven't been models. We be pretenders, we do things, we say things that are inconsistent with what we say we stand for. So I think one of the things that I will really appreciate with the new regime is as much as possible. I know it's a tall order and we want them to do everything in a short period of time. Is that if we could really get some of the basic laws well in place, like to do with safety, health and safety, one on the road or in the workplace, to deal with, say, the protection of the environment, like sand mining and deforestation and that kind of thing, we will be interesting. And also the control of pesticides. And we decide people use those things indiscriminately. I've known people who have died. I'm told, who were affected by their neighbors, indiscriminately using certain chemicals. I mean, people feel that because they could go in the shop and buy something, they can spray it all over the place, not realizing that it's affecting the neighbors. And we need to regulate that. We need to regulate what kind of pesticides also we have allowed to come in this country, and allow who could buy certain pesticides. So it's a lot of need for law order. A sense like, if I have a problem with my foot, because one day I was walking through town. I was going for lunch, and two people were fighting, and the woman felt a big rock at the man, and he said, "Man, my friend, I got no compensation for that." So you could be walking through town, and because people are wayward or they are ill-mannered or ill-disciplined, you could end up losing your life or losing a hand or a foot.
Right,
I mean, we need to really ensure that this place is a civil, and I heard Mr. Adams said last night, one of the things that he hopes is that we could have a literate society where people work together and help. I mean, we need to work together, not against each other, and this is what is happening. Everybody wants a dollar, they want a food, without understanding that if you get food at a person expense, then you really do a disservice. We have to make sure that when we get our food, that it doesn't deny other people, and when we do things, it doesn't put people at discomfort. So we need to really to take stock, and I know it wouldn't come easy overnight, but we need to really hold one another accountable. Thank you, GT.
Thanks for your contribution. 435-2041, 435-2041, and caller had certainly a lot to say. And some of what he said, I do certainly concur with him also. Let's go back to the phone line this morning. Caller, good morning, and how are you?
Mr. Telesford, I beg your humble indulgences for a minute.
Go right ahead, sir.
Yes, listen, I want to chime in a bit on this lighting, vehicular lighting at nights and so on. Listen, there are certain things in the automotive industry that you do not tamper with. Because in the industry, huge sums are invested in research and development, all aspects. That is why our vehicles move around and so on, and they don't fall apart and whatnot and whatnot. Let's look at the lighting. It is established globally that lighting systems, illumination systems on vehicles, on road, not off-road, on road, paved road, shall not be modified. The manufacturers make they do with all their tests and investment and so on, and they set a lamp in place. They advise you how to use it. Now, if you want to do off-road activity, sporting activity, to your own risk, etc., you go on and do it. And of course, according to the country, they will do the regulation, but that's off-road. But on-road, you do not modify. What is happening in this here country is everybody doing their own thing. And if you continue to live in a society where different strokes are for different folks, and we have a police and traffic department doesn't understand these things, the regulations are there, you Mr. Telesford. I swear to you that the regulations are there. They may just have to modify it in terms of the wattage and whatnot, but they're there. But the police is searching and taking these things and grounding the vehicles. That's what happened. That is what is happening. Listen, there is a Hamlet. The beginning of Hamlet, there is a soliloquy where Shakespeare wrote a the question, he said, to be or not to be, that is the question. In this here country, we have to set a system in place to maintain what is to be. And deal with the people regardless of who they are. Some people do what they want and they get up. This is what we want in this country. Discipline with authority who know what they're about, who are up to date in systems, who can show you this is how it has to be. And if you have it otherwise, then you cannot run on the roads of the country. We want discipline in this here country. Mr. That's the problem. I am afraid that one day something very serious will happen. And I really feel it for these elderly folk who complain and so on. But if the police, and not only the police, but the authorities of this country were to do their work, it can be different. Thank you very much and have a nice day. Will you, sir?
You too, sir. Have a good day. Point taken. 435-2041. 435-2041. It's to the point for today, Tuesday. Let me say good morning to, of course, listeners and viewers via our Facebook page this morning. Loads of comments. I'm kind of losing track of all the comments been made because I also have to take the calls. Let's see how we can entertain this caller. Good morning to you, caller. How are you?
Good morning to you. And how are you doing today?
Doing all right.
Have a great day. No, somebody mentioned about we need to make more laws. But let me say this. I don't think we need to make more laws. We need to refine some of the laws. Because you see, to me, lawmaking the days is sitting in Parliament and just idling. We could use that time in interacting on a social level with the citizens. We will talk about the economy as much as we want. If we can't bring people together, we can't get this economy going. And we need to talk more peace and love. Let's see how we could help each other on a community level. The ministers of government, do a little more interactive work with the communities. Maybe every week you give one day to the community, walk around and see how people is doing, see what they need, etc., instead of sitting in Parliament and making laws, because the laws we're not getting anywhere with it. Let's talk more peace. How we could help each other to develop economically, to help people to meet their daily needs. This is where we need to go more on a social level, because you see, the economic is causing us to break down socially. And so we have to look at this area too. Have a great day, sir.
Thank you so much for your contribution this morning. Let me see if I could grab some of the comments that have been sent via the Facebook page this morning. And it goes back to a lot of comments this morning. The comments seem to be centered around the aspect of the lighting issue that most callers have been calling in talking about this morning. And this individual here via the Facebook page comment section is saying that it's the Bureau of Standards objective and type for this type of lights for vehicles in Grenada. And no, the auto dealers have the right to import these types of LED lights. Yes, if he's trying to say, do the dealers have the right to do so? Where's that comment? And someone just said something and just threw me off entirely with the comment. Let me think. I have got to back to it. I'll get to you shortly, caller. Just give me a minute. And they're saying that yes, I agree with some of the lights situation. Some LED lights don't have the low and high beams, and that that's a big problem. All LED must have a low and high beam, especially for the front beam. Like some drivers play the full at night, or play the full at night, and or should say the full. I'm probably saying that play full at night, and that's a contribution there. It's a little bit off. Let's take a call and then we come back to some of the comments. Good morning to you, caller. How are you? Caller, good morning. Good morning, caller. Yes, caller. Good morning. How are you?
Yeah, not bad at all. There's something I have on my mind that I need to get off my chest.
Throw it out.
Right. I go to the stadium car park on Saturday. I can't get rid of some of the things I've bought over the years that I don't need. Mm-hmm. And, we have a good raffle day on a Saturday morning. But there's two things that is troubling there. One is that a lot of the people who goes there and sell, they used to use the athletic stadium toilet facilities downstairs the building. Mm-hmm. But what they do now is they stop them from using it, and now they have to go down to the cricket stadium, way down in fact. And it's unfair and unfortunate, that they do that, because some of the people who sell there, that's the farmers, they have a certain age, and they have to travel all this distance, to relieve themselves. So I'm suggesting that there is an area right close to the entrance that if those who involved are responsible for the running of the car park, stadium car park, if they could put some toilet facilities there, you do a little fence around, and
maybe the portable ones, per se, call it.
The portable ones. So, you fence it around and you can use it, even though they have to pay a fee, and then even though somebody who comes to the stadium wish to relieve themselves, you have somebody manning it that they pay $1 to use it. I think it would be much more appropriate for not me, I'm still old, I'm a senior citizen, but I still consider myself young.
Right.
But for the ageable persons, and you see some of them have to walk all the way down to the back just to use a toilet facility. I think something could be done about that. Secondly, though, most important, there is two guys who come there. I don't go there every Saturday. Whenever I go there, they always there on a Saturday morning. And they are the most two disrespectful guys I've seen around children and all. Mm-hmm. They cut you upside down. They tell you they just go around walking around cussing. But there is one of them that needs to be addressed by the security or the police, because they cut you. What I've seen Saturday gone is there's these foreigners that came to the stadium, and he must have asked them for $1 or whatever he had, and because they probably said no or walk off, he cut them upside down. And I think something needs to be done around that. Somebody is going to get involved, and then I'm speaking about it now because I know one day probably he may cut somebody's wife or somebody, and they take offense it, and they're going to knock him out, or they're going to do him something, and which is not. We don't want that to happen. So could please the authorities who involved, please investigate it. If you think what I'm saying is not true, investigate it on a Saturday morning.
Okay.
These two guys are very disrespectful in front of children as well.
All right, cool.
So something needs to be done about those two issues. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your contribution this morning. 435-2041. That's 435-2041. That's a number you can call. We do have another caller. Good morning to you.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
I just want to ask a simple question this morning. And that question goes straight to some of the union officers. I want to ask them, if one group of people in this country could campaign, lie, mama guide the people of this country, and the next set can campaign and things what they say they will do, they will hold some in the mind for 4, sometimes 8 years, and the next set they just let it off. This union people and them was there, and they see the past government bring thousands of the workers up in polls and tell them they sign all. They never ask the past minister, how far you reach with this oil thing because you campaign and oil? I never heard them ask this question, but now they hold Deacon in the heart. He campaign and not sending home people. They sit back and they collect workers' money for years. They have them on contract. They never push to get their workers permanent. No, they didn't do that. Even some of the same workers sit down and work for 13 years, 16 years, and they never step forward to put their name on the permanent list. But today you hear they standing up and say they can campaign. Is he one what campaign and things? What they for the people of this country? Is he one campaign and say things?
All right.
Come on, we must be straight and fair.
All right. Thank you for your contribution this morning, caller. 435-2041, 435-2041. That's the number to get on the inside here on To The Point for today, Tuesday. We have another caller. Caller, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I want to deal with the LED lights inside of your home, where you live. Now, if you notice carefully, and this is what I've observed, the lights have a strange glow, and it has a low dim on the lights, which you might be saving a few dollars at the ending of the month when you go and pay a light bill. Mm-hmm. But because of how it's designed, I believe it is affecting your eyesight and could lead to blindness. That is how I think about the matter.
So you're talking about the luminance of it per se?
Yeah, there is a glow which is a minimal glow. Mm-hmm. And if you're in a room with that type of lighting system, it affects your vision, it affects your eyes. You start getting a pressure on your eye. So you might be saving a few dollars one way, but it might be affecting your health the other way. We have to be careful with technology, because we have a tendency to believe that we have technology for everything. We have technology for climate change. We have technology for acid rain. We have technology for everything. That is not true. That is absolutely not true. We think we're so advanced. We're not that advanced. So what I am saying is, I would like people to observe what is happening with these lights in your home, not in vehicles per se. There might be a problem with the vehicles otherwise, but study the lighting system, the LED lighting system inside your house. I believe it is dangerous. Thank you.
Thank you for your contribution. 435-2041. 435-2041. It's To The Point for today. We're looking at 18 minutes moving on before the top of the hour. 18 minutes left on today's program. Let's go back to the phone line. Caller, good morning, and how are you?
Good morning, Mr. Telesphone. I'm fine, thank you. Mr. Telesphone, I've been listening to a radio station this morning, and somebody made references to food. And references to the quality of food that is being produced in the world. Mm-hmm. He made some. Apparently, he has done some research, and he knows what he's talking about. And a lot of us, we go on the internet, all we look is for entertainment. We don't really look for things that could affect us. Now, for a number of years, we have had people here in agriculture, directly in agriculture, and they call it the agricultural mission. Nobody knows what the mission is. Mm-hmm. And we look at our foods now. I mean, the younger people may not know because they're born and they're eating what they get. But people like my age group and older have been talking for years about the change in the taste of food. I have said on this radio station and this program already that the Ministry of Health, the Produce Chemist Laboratory, if there is one still, and the Grenada Food and Nutrition Council, they should make it a point of duty to examine what food we produce, what nutrients, if there is any, in our food. Not only on the food that we grow on the land, but again the fish. that we are eating, what happened to it? Because I read when I was at SDU, I read about the number of miles and miles of fish tanks that are placed in the sea and what is done. And after some years and months, they let go a set of fish in the sea and they're taking a new set and they're experimenting and examining and so on. What is the aim and the objective of these fish tanks? Now, when you buy fish now, it's like you're eating fish and you don't have any taste. When it is like straw in your mouth. What has happened to our food and what is the agenda that is pushing people to do what they're doing, to come into the Grenada and maybe in other countries and take over the agriculture? Say you're on a mission and you're telling them what to do and they think you're doing something for the benefit, whereas it's to the detriment. We need to check on our food. Our young children are getting sicker. They are getting obese. They have all kinds of problems as old people. So something is wrong, and it is time that we take charge of what is our food. We talk about agriculture. We're talking about technology, but we're not taking on what is done to the food that we eat. I'm asking the Ministry of Health, I'm asking the Food and Nutrition Council to test our produce, our food. Somebody told me that she said she bought some callaloo. And when she cooked the callaloo, it's like pieces of cloth. It can melt, it can dissolve. Why? She's not a young person because she has been cooking all her life, but she had to discard it and then try to plant her own.
Right.
So we need to do something about the food that we eat and what people who coming in to say they're helping us, what are they doing to us?
Thank you for your contribution, caller.
Right.
All right. It's to the point for today. We drew for a break in this segment. Let's take a break. We come back and take the final segment this morning of To the Point. We're coming right back. Don't touch it down.
My granddaughter.
Are you a small business and would like your business to grow? Do you have an event, products, or services that people should know about? Be wise. Advertise. Book your spot on GBN Shopping Guide. Be part of Grenada's biggest advertising medium, the Grenada Broadcasting Network. Call our sales department now on 440-2446 or 440-3033 or GBN plus the number sign. Email us at sales@gbn.gd. Special conditions apply.
This could be out. Brilliant catch. What a stunning catch.
The biggest party in sports, the Caribbean Premier League, is back and live on GBN Television. Capture the energy.
Welcome back to the point. We're inside the final segment this morning. It's 12 minutes moving out before 10 o'clock. We wrap up To the Point at 10 a.m. this morning. Once again, it's an open line for today, Tuesday. Once again, we're taking your phone calls. Lots been said this morning. I've lost track of so many comments been made via the Facebook page this morning. I've been trying my best to get most of them in, but sometimes I do lose track of it a wee bit. Let's go back to the phone line. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, sir. sir.
Good morning.
We live in a fast, quick world, and everything people are doing is to do it now for now. People are complaining about the food we are getting. It is because we do not have good cooks. We are talking about the, let's say the law enforcement people, and some of them, if not the majority, I don't know if to say majority or the minority, are no good. Let me give you an example. A few weeks back, I stupidly so-and-so was stopped. And when I was stopped by a policeman, I stopped. And I continued to remain there. And he was not aware that he had to call me and tell me, come. Instead, what he tried to do, or tried to tell me, he go charge me. What I did do, or what I did say, I told him charge me. And to some extent, we had a little argument. And when maybe he catch up himself, he laughed and he told me, go on, go on. What I'm trying to tell you, do you think he knows maybe the law? Bear in mind, he stopped me. If I had gone, what would he have done? His mission is to charge me when I go. But maybe I was stupid and I've continued to stop. Then he wasn't able to charge me. And I think he wouldn't be able to charge me. Also, I went for inspection with a vehicle. An inspector was inspecting, let's say, the vehicle to know if it's, roadworthy.
Mm-hmm.
And he checked it, and he told me to pull up my handbrakes 2 notch. And I asked myself, what kind of stupid thing this man telling me? If I were to pull up my vehicle handbrakes 2 notch, I would just spin wrong maybe in the road, or my brakes would drag. Or it may hinder how the vehicle would maneuver itself. So then, after he failed me, I watched him, and I said, what happened to you? You something wrong with you? I said, how you could talk about 2 notch? He crossed it out, and I went back another day for inspection, and somebody started laughing. Where your partner? He was no longer there. So what I'm trying to, don't put square peg in wrong hole. Put square peg in square hole. Wrong peg in wrong hole. And this is what is happening all about in Grenada. Not only one sector. People have been placed just because, maybe for political reason, or because of beauty, or because or what they could do. Thank you very much. So something is drastically wrong.
Thank you for your contribution this morning, caller. 435-2041, 435-2041. But I kind of take a little issue in terms of what he said. If you was park still, because most time when the police ask you to pull your handbrakes when you do inspection, is because you stopped or you're still in. All right. So if he asks you to pull it up 2 notch, you're not moving. But if you're driving and you have to pull your handbrakes, I don't think you're gonna pull it 2 notch if you drive. Okay, maybe I need a little clarification on that. Anyway, let's move along. Good morning, caller. How are you? Would you mind reading your please?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I think you got mixed up. That's why I got mixed up. Like I see, he went for inspection.
Yeah, well, that's why I was concerned when he said the police asked him to pull it 2 notch. So, I mean, more or less, you are stopped when the police ask you to check your handbrakes, right?
No one asked you to pull your handbrakes while you're driving.
Well, so I was a little taken up with that, but I guess it could be a little mistake, a slip of the tongue or a mistake.
I think without a mistake there.
What's your contribution, sir? Go right ahead.
So, go right. Dealing with the lights and everything,
Mm-hmm.
I really think that it's gone back to education. Education is the key in a lot of things. Because if you look at night, so night should be the most easiest time to drive.
Mm-hmm.
But it becomes the most difficult time to drive. All because of we don't have road ethics. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
We don't really respect people on the road. So when you meet each other, you're supposed to dim your light. And when you pass it, you put it back up. So then each other could get clear visions of the road. And I believe that even before the bright light, that was happening. Continued to happen for ages.
Yeah.
But the LED lights now make it a little more difficult because some of them lights of the LED is not it don't spot it. It is like a raise. You don't have a spot. So it's like all over the place. So then it just cuts you off. If you look like the light in the stadium, sometimes you're watching the whole white thing.
Yeah.
That's how some of the lights like. It's just white. So it cuts off your whole vision of the other side. Yes. So I think that is education. That is the whole thing of that to get rid of that lighting system, because it is really difficult. Now, I think that creates a lot of accidents. A lot of accidents we see on the road happen by that.
All right.
Yeah, because a guy got his bus licked up in the back, and the woman, she didn't see because the light was in her eyes.
I understand.
And this is creating a lot of problems. So I think that even though you have the light, the road users' education should be that you dim your light. If everyone follow protocol on the road in the night, driving will be easier. I could imagine someone with glasses. You know, someone with glasses is more difficult for them.
I understand that.
If you're wearing glasses, and you're driving and the lights hit you, it is much more difficult than if you're not wearing glasses.
Because you get that bright glare that comes.
Exactly, you get a double glare you're getting, right? Right. So then it is very dangerous for people who are wearing glasses. That's why sometimes when driving, they hit the light hit them. When you see them mash the brakes, they wonder what happened, but they cannot see really because of that double glare. So it is very dangerous in the night driving with glasses and with that bright light.
Right.
So I think that education should come in where they should really dim the light at night.
All right.
Yeah? But I think some of the lights in them are extra bright. Some of them, the LEDs, they are extra bright. And some have no, as one caller says, some have no dim. You can't dim them. So if you cannot dim that should not be on the vehicle, because the vehicle have bright and dim. So if it cannot be dimmed, then it should not be for the vehicle.
All right. Thank you for your contribution, caller.
All right.
435-2041, 435-2041. That's the number to get on. We just have a few more minutes left, just around 4 minutes or so left on today's show. To the point for today. Let's take a couple of the comments. Nothing wrong. This is a comment via the Facebook comment section. Nothing wrong with our homes. What the majority of homeowners don't know is that homeowners must know the type of bulbs and wattage to install inside their homes. If you use 60-watt bulbs, the light is too bright for your eyes, and due to the type of as you say, the filament per se, the type of filament inside, I use 15 watts bulbs so that when I use up at night, and I can switch to the lights to switch my lights. My eyes don't get affected and so forth. I guess that caller is talking pertaining to the light issue, and someone did calling pertaining to the LED lights in their house and saying that it could be more hazardous or do more bad for you than good. Let's go back to the phone line. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
Good. You're doing an excellent job. Good job. And good morning to the listening on United on Facebook. The two last caller, I think you let them. Don't get me wrong. I just giving my piece. Yeah. I think you let them prolong too long because they make the point and they keep talking. We already got the issue.
Well, I try every morning in the intro when I say keep your comments short, but sometimes everyone just goes overboard.
Because you keep on prolonging.
Then I get accused of cutting people off.
About glasses and lights and the color before he did the same thing, So you should know when to tell them.
I try at times, but sometimes I try to just give them the consideration of knowing the time
but they should know better than that to when to stop. I don't mean nothing. I just, but you're doing a very good job.
Get your point.
What I want to address,
we have 2 minutes before we wrap.
I'll be very fast. You see that road in Mongay, River Road there? Next to Stills, where they do the mitigation work in the St. John's River? I think they should pitch the road by now because they finished with the wall there. They have humps in the road there. And when vehicles going into town and those going out of town in River Road, they drive on your side, on the left side. They don't want to keep in the drain or keep where they're fixing that road there. They come on you. And that can create accident right on the hump, right by Still, next door to Still there. I think the people in authority should go there and look at it and fix it as soon as possible because they don't know what. That's what I want to say.
All right. Thank you so much for your contribution this morning. Maybe we have time to take one more call. We have just about a minute to go before we wrap this morning. And I do see a call is coming in, which means we got time to just take the final caller this morning. Good morning to you, caller. Make your contribution.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I think the driver is supposed to lower the music. I think the music is too loud right now. I don't know what it is again on it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for your contribution this morning, caller. That's where we come to the end of today's program here on GBN TV. Yes, and also on Classic 105. Thank you, folks, who participated this morning in terms of your phone calls. Certainly do appreciate you taking the time of the calling and share your views and your concerns. Certainly, I guess there are folks out there may have learned a lot in terms of what you said. Thank you so much. Those of you who are viewing via GBN TV, once again, thank you. Those of you via our social media page, thank you for participating in terms of your comments and everything else. And certainly appreciate it a whole lot. Until another edition of To The Point, which we'll have tomorrow. This is why I say goodbye. Have yourself a lovely day, and thanks for being part of it. I'm going to here.